Hello, good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing today? It's great to be here on another exciting webinar episode. Hi, thank you so much for joining. I see those of you who are joining already on Instagram, on YouTube. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining. You are welcome to another exciting episode of our webinar series. Hi, everyone. I see you. Thank you for joining. And wherever you're joining from, feel free to drop it in the comment section so I can say a proper hello and thank you to you. If this is your first time joining me on any of our webinar series, my name is Just Ibe and I am the lead consultant at the Just Ibe company. Today, we are going to be teaching you how to trigger the emotions that make people buy. Early this morning, I sent out a personalized message to some of my dear friends. Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's great to see you too. Thank you so much for joining. I sent out a personalized message to my friends in my, contact list, and I shared with them a personal experience. And I'm going to start today's conversation by talking about that personal experience. So what I did was share a teaser about that personal experience in that personalized note I had sent out to those who were in my contact list. Today, I'm going to start this conversation with that gist, and then we'll move on to have our conversation for today, which is how to trigger the emotions that make people buy. If you were in our live stream last week, you can imagine how very informative it was as an entrepreneur. Today is going to be a lot more, but I need you to pay attention, listen with undivided attention, and make sure that your notes and your pen are ready so that you can just take notes so that you can practice after today's class. To be able to help us start today, I usually will start with an opening prayer. Father, thank you for today. Thank you for everyone who's joining. Thank you for those who are going to join. I ask that as we teach how to trigger the emotions that buy, that you would give them wisdom to be able to apply this in their everyday businesses. And as they apply it, I ask that they see results in Jesus' name. Amen. And so we are going to get right into today's conversation, how to trigger the emotions that make people buy. I started by saying I wanted to share a personal story I have sent to those who were in my contact list, a personalized story. One of those days I was in Lagos traffic, all those sort of traffic where you are in traffic for hours, you have played all kinds of worship songs, you have called everybody that you could call and gisted and laughed, but yet the traffic just seems to not be going away. And then I became so thirsty at this. I became so very thirsty. So I had seen one of these guys who sell on the traffic and sell water on the traffic. And so what I did was quickly use my hand. If you're in Lagos, if you're a Lagosian, you understand what I mean. I used my hand to beckon on them. I like water. Can you come? And so as the guy was running towards me in the car, I saw him running. It was me who called him to come. I had brought out the amount of money I wanted to pay for the water. So I held the money like this in my hand, waiting for him to come close. But guess what? I had wound up my glasses so high so that even when he comes to come and give me the water, he would not have access into my car. You know how you're in Lagos, they tell you better wind up your glasses because all these guys who are in traffic, they do all manner of things. And a person who is thirsty, wanted water, was still winding up their glasses. How is water going to enter? Right? Now, why do I share this story? Every customer you interact with, they are like me and you when we're in traffic trying to buy water. We most times want to buy, but there's already an internal resistance going on inside our mind. That internal resistance, you as the business owner, you don't see it. As a matter of fact, you may never know that there's an internal resistance even before they met you. It's not about you. It's not about the product that you sell. It's not about the business that you sell. It's about the fact that human beings want to buy, but they don't like to spend money. Human beings want to buy, but they don't like to be sold to. So it's an internal bias that has nothing to do with you as a business owner. That's why when you are selling, you don't take anything personal. You don't take any rejection personal. You don't take any objection personal because It's not about you. It's about the internal bias. And that's why today I'm going to teach you how to trigger the emotions that actually make them to buy. Right? And so, just like me in traffic, wanting to buy water, but still resisting and winding up my glass so that they don't come close. Eventually, of course, I bought my water, I gave the guy his money, and then he went back. Right? Now, like most customers, if they're able to get to you, most times they will give you you collect their money. But that process of trying to break through that resistance is what determines whether you end up getting their money or not. So, how then do you trigger these emotions? You first must realize that the human beings you are selling to, they have a life just like you have a life. Meaning the person who you want to do business with today did not wake up on their mind and was thinking about where do I swipe my wallet. They didn't wake up that way. They woke up with genuine needs, genuine concerns, and genuine challenges. So you as the business owner must awaken every day with an understanding the people that you are going to interact with are humans like you that have daily targets. You know, you have monetary daily targets. How you're like, oh, as a business owner today, I need to sell 15 dresses because I need to pay this, pay that, pay that. The same customer you're trying to collect their money to woke up with a financial target. So anybody who is trying to collect their money is trying to reduce their own target. Meanwhile, you are trying to add to your target. Do you see how it happens in the minds of your customers? This is literally what's going on in their mind. You are looking for a target. They too are looking for a target. You are now the person trying to reduce their own target. So there's going to be resistance internally and then sometimes externally. So that means that you must take the battle of sales away from external and move internal to be able to make sure you're closing more sales. Let me say that one again. You must take the battle of sales away from the external and go and meet them from the internal so that you can close more sales. Meaning that the things that make people buy, as much as people say we are moved by our eyes first before our wallet moves, right? Guess what? The eyes is not the final deciding factor. Even when the eyes has seen it and is captivated, the eyes will have to send neurons back to the brain to go and confirm with the brain. Are you sure you're ready to part with this amount of money for this fine thing that you saw? So the eyes is not the final destination. That means that as a business owner, now that you know that it's not just about shiny object syndrome, packaging, all the fine aesthetics that you put in your products and services, it's about the fact that the decision is made internally first before externally. So that means to play the game of consistent closing of sales, go and start that game from inside, not external. Meaning, start the closing game from intrinsic, not extrinsic. And I'll teach you how. The first thing to pay attention to is sit down and write your question. Okay, I apologize. The call came in. So the first thing to do is this customer. You have to describe this customer. You see, most times we trivialize this stage. You know how they teach you in business coaching and all the different master classes you go to, and they tell you who is your ideal customer avatar, draw the avatar. You know those descriptions you do. This single step may look simple and trivial. It may look elementary, but it's deeper than that. The essence of drawing your ideal customer avatar is not so that you can just create nice sales pitches that get the attention. The idea of drawing a customer avatar or describing your customer is so that you understand their temperaments. You see that one? Because most times you draw avatars and you talk about where they work, where they watch movie, their news, where they hang out, where they make him laugh the most, and all the different things that you put that are the technicalities. What you forget is that the most important reason of describing your customers in totality is truly their temperament. Their temperament. And I know somebody's going to be saying, but coach, how am I going to identify the temperament of this person when I haven't done maybe a personality test for the person? How do I know what they like, what they do not like, and all of that? Guess what? With the world we live in, people's demography, their location, and their buying patterns can give you an idea of their temperament. People's demography, right? Their location, their buying patterns can give you an idea of a person's temperament. Let me try to make this practical. Say you have a product and service and you're trying to sell to people who are mothers, right? Working class mothers in Lagos. They're corporate women. They have to wake up in the morning, prepare their children for school, and then hit the road very early so that they can beat traffic and get to work. You would find that this kind of person is someone who does not joke with her time or his time. Okay, now since we're talking of a woman, in breaking down the person's characteristics, when you're trying to describe your customer, you begin to identify temperaments. Don't look at ideal customer and look at location, sex, where they go to for news. Those things are peripheral. They don't give you the exactitude as to how to get the person to buy. They're peripheral. That's why you find that a lot of times you try to sell to somebody again and again and again. They keep telling you, I will think about it, I will think about it. The reason is you are dealing with them exteriorly or extrinsically. You haven't connected with something about their temperament that gets them to pay attention. So let's go back to this example of this woman now. She's a corporate woman. She goes to work maybe in Victoria Island, and she has to put her children, prepare them for school before she goes, hit the traffic and all of that. You would notice that from outlining this woman's life, you would understand that she's somebody who values her time. Every second is precious to her. And that is why she will wake up as early as 4, pray if she can, prepare the children. By 5 or 5:30, she has hit the road. You will know that this kind of person does not have time. So one of the things that are in her temperament is she wants to buy time. So you are trying to sell a product. The person who you are trying to sell to is trying to buy time. Do you see the disconnect? Let me say it again. Do you see the disconnect in how you try to sell to people and you keep experiencing resistance? Why? You're selling to the extrinsic factors. Meanwhile, if you connect to the intrinsic, aka their temperament, you are able to identify the one thing they are looking for, but they are not vocal enough about. Let me tell you something about customers. Customers, the things that they are looking for, sometimes they can't even express what they are looking for as customers. Let me make this clearer. Big corporates like Apple, big corporates like Microsoft, and all the big corporates that you know and look up to, they know these things about customers, and that is why they look like they're consistently hitting it back to back. I know they didn't start this way, but as they began to grow, they began to understand that the game of numbers, the game of sales, the game of consistent revenue is not played extrinsically, it's played intrinsically. So they will create campaigns, advertising copies that will connect to something inside you, and they will be cool with that. That means that they're not going to be showing you and saying, well, this is so slick, this is so tiny, this is so that. They are talking about exclusivity, class, right? Connection, being amongst the top 5 and all those things. They're connecting to intrinsic. So they're not playing at the external, what's the word now? They're not playing at the external level. So you as an entrepreneur, what do you do that these big corporates are doing at the level where you are at? I just gave you a typical example of a person who is your ideal customer. She's probably a woman. She's looking to buy time in her life if she could just have more time. And let me explain this in a very detailed manner. A woman who is a corporate woman and is always, waking up early, trying to beat traffic, trying to get to work early and put her children to school and all of that. The reason why she's trying to buy time is because she believes that her life should account to more. Her life cannot just be in this circle again and again. She believes that her life should account to more. So you will find that though she's not able to vocalize what she really needs, her desire, that thing that is keeping her awake at night, that thing that is making her have sleepless nights, that thing that is worrying her and bothering her soul, is the fact that I need to be able to have more time to do more with my life. But you who is trying to sell her a product is selling her a product at the extrinsic value. Let me tell you, she'll keep telling you, let me think about it. Why? Because you haven't connected to that thing inside of her temperament, the intrinsic values. So, with identifying that this woman has an intrinsic desire for more time, what do you then begin to do with your product, with your services, with the value that you have to offer? You start speaking to that thing that is her deep desire, even though she's not bold enough to vocalize it. The silent voice in her, God bless you. That silent voice in her is usually the loudest as far as selling to customers are. Because you see that silent voice, let me tell you why it's so powerful. That silent voice has romanced their spirit so much that their spirit has agreed with them that this is what I need. And so it remains there. You, as the business owner, your job is once you get that silent voice, let me tell you, you consistently close back to back with that customer. So now that you have an understanding that this customer is looking to buy time so that she can do more with her life, or so that she can be able to do the things that she has not been able to do all this while, what then do you begin to do with your copies, with your products, with your value, with your services? You begin to paint a daily picture of her life. You have to begin to paint a daily picture of her life in your content. So you see, the game of content creation is not just content you create because you want to sell. It's content you create so that you can establish a connectivity between your product and your service and the person's intrinsic desire, aka silent voice, aka silent need. So you do that periodically over a period of time so that the more they look at what it is you put out, they're like, this person gets me. This person understands me. How is it that it's the same thing I talked about last night? She's talking about this morning. How does she know? Literally, you are looking like a magician in the eyes of the customer because you're able to identify that one thing that is their silent voice. So wherever you are right now, I need you to sit down. As we're having this conversation, write who this your ideal customer is and write out the typical day in their life. What do they go through when they wake up every day? I need you to be deliberate about this step, because this step may look like, well, I have learned ideal customer for so long, I know it. No, if you knew it, you'll be getting the same result that the multinationals are using it for. I do know that there are some other excesses, I do know that there are some other efforts you have to put in to be able to get bigger results, and I will teach you in another class, okay? And that's the science of scale as a business owner, where you can be local, but you can start thinking global and acting global. I will teach you that in another class, okay? But for now, let us settle this particular one. So you begin to sit down wherever you are and identify, write this person that you say you really want to sell to. What is the typical day in their life like? Wherever you are, write this. When you have finished writing it, the next thing to do is to look at everything you have written and draw inferences as to an intrinsic value. If you haven't done that, you haven't drawn your ideal customer avatar. Yes, and I know that this is going to mess up some people's understanding of business coaching, business growth, and all of that. But believe me, I'm trying to teach you how to build a business that would last. It's not just about making money today and tomorrow you are nowhere to be found, because you have been taught how to thank you so much, because you have been taught how to show up, do this, do that, make money and go. That's not how to build a sustainable business. A sustainable business must grow from the beginning with an understanding of the customer they want to serve and position themselves to be knitted to the customer for the long haul. That's how to grow. If not, after a while, you will notice that you are not able to sustain the steam that you have used every day to show up to just get money. In our previous class, I taught you about how money should not be the motivating factor. Okay, I think it was 2 classes ago. If you haven't joined any of our live streams, just go back to either my YouTube page or our Instagram page. You'll catch all the replays of all the classes we have done, so that you too can, be up to date as to all the business webinars we have been doing. Having said that, the idea of writing out this is so that you are able to look through the lines and draw inferences. Now, because you're not a big corporate yet, with big corporates, what they do is called research and development. They will research the customer so much that they'll be able to identify where they did that last, what they went to before, and draw inferences. Sit down in an R&D department and draw inferences that they'll use to describe the customer. Literally, that's what big corporates do. So that's why it looks like every time they create a campaign or they create a promotion, they are always on point. Why? They have money and financial muscle to do proper R&D. But you that they may not have the money now, you can still use wisdom. Thank you. I'm happy that you are getting the answer now. You can still use wisdom to draw the inferences that the multinationals use big money in research and development to do. How? When you write it out, looking between the lines. Looking between the lines. From looking in between the lines, I wake up this time, I go to bed this time, every time I'm exhausted, I don't have this. You begin to see that, okay, this person's need is time. This person's need is productivity. You draw in between the line and identify 1, 2, or 3 major intrinsic needs that they want by all means. Then change your entire marketing strategy. See, if you do what I have told you today and you change your entire marketing strategy, let me tell you, in the next 1 year, they'll be rushing you. You will not be rushing them. Because you will strategically walk your way into the minds of all your customers that they will wake up, eat, think, breathe you. Yes, it's what the big corporates do. That's why you go to any place, you're looking for Coca-Cola. They have done it years and years and years. They have planted themselves inside you to the extent that even when you see a promotion that says that they have put too much sugar, they are killing people, you will just look at the ad and you throw it away. Why? Those guys, they have done this thing I'm teaching you. They have done it. These things are not far-fetched. All we need is implementation. People with a heart to implement step by step and be consistent enough to they see a difference. That's what we're looking for. My pastor is here. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining, sir. I'm supposed to be in church now. Okay. So, having said that, we're just looking for men and women who will be able to implement what it is they are learning and run with it. That's really what it is. It's not far-fetched. You can look in between the lines, draw inferences, and turn those inferences to your entire marketing strategy. Like the example of the person I gave earlier when I said what she really needs to do is get more time so she can do better with her life. You as the business owner trying to sell to her, whether you're selling hair, whether you're selling makeup, whether you're selling clothes, whether you're selling foodstuffs, whatever you are, whether you're selling skincare, whatever you're selling to her, you are telling her this thing she's looking for, her intrinsic desire. So you are tying your marketing message, your pitches, your copies to her deepest needs. That's your job to do. And that's why the game of content creation, aka digital strategy, is deliberate. It's not something you wake up in the morning and say, what do I post today? You sit down and create it. I had a consulting session with one of my mentees yesterday, and she was saying to me, I am struggling with content. I said, you are not struggling. You are not dedicating time to it. There's a difference between struggling to write content and dedicating time to do it. You're not struggling. If you're struggling, it's because you have not sat down to do it. So if you can look at your life and block out specific time to sit down and do this game of content with a clear understanding of the customer you are trying to serve and their intrinsic desire, you would find that after a while, you won't chase them, they'll chase you. Because the game of positioning, influence, wealth is attraction, it's not chasing. Let me say this one again. The game of positioning, influence, wealth is attraction, not chasing. Meaning that you are positioning yourself to attract the people who want to do business with you. Imagine Coca-Cola every day doing sponsored ad, come and buy, come and buy. Have you ever seen the sponsored ad, come and buy? No, they don't do it. They do campaigns that connect with your desire. That's what they do. And they have done that for decades. In fact, decades. They will never stop because they recognize I don't need to beg anybody to buy. All I need to do is position and connect to their intrinsic desire, get them to chase me. It's as simple as that. You, as a business owner, can do that now by outlining your customer, drawing inferences between their intrinsic need. Thank you so much, sir. Oh, I feel so good. My pastor is here. Thank you so much, sir. Then take time to create connection between their intrinsic need and what you're trying to achieve for them, and you'll find that they will consistently gravitate towards you. And listen, guys, this is not even it's not supposedly a prayer point. It's strategy that has been tested, proven, and will continue to work forever. We just need entrepreneurs who are, willing to dedicate their time to get this result. And aside from dedicating your time, you must start with the end in mind. You must start with the end in mind, meaning that I know what I'm trying to achieve. If it's going to take me 3 years, I'm going to commit the 3 years to be able to do it. There's a reason why I decided to start doing weekly broadcasts, is so that I can re-nurture my audience back. I've done this for the longest time, but for 2 years I went on a break. And after those 2 years, it was necessary for me to re-nurture my audience back. And so I'm consistently doing it because I'm trying to go one back into your heart to say, hey, you have missed this voice. Hey, you need this woman. Hey, the way she teaches me makes me feel like, I need to, she teaches me everything so that I can go back and be able to get it right and, build for the long haul. So I'm deliberately creating teachings and classes that would make you be able to build for the long haul. So that 10 years later, you will look back and say, I was with you 10 years ago. My business is still standing 10 years later, and I'm growing in leaps and bounds. Those are the kind of businesses I want to coach, raise, and mentor. I'm not interested in teaching you how to make money today and then tomorrow. No. It's not sustainable, and it's going to tear you apart. Because any business that depends on you showing up every day to be able to eat, it will die in your absence. That's not how to grow a business. So it is time for us as African business owners, whether you're an SME, whether you're a mid-level organization, it is time for you to start thinking, how do I build for the long haul? How do I position this business so that 3 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, I'm here? How do I put the right systems and structures in place that even when I'm not there, it can run? No matter how small your business is, it can happen for you. Anyway, that's going to be another class. Let's move on very quickly. Okay, the next thing is we have now talked about picking an intrinsic value, an intrinsic need or intrinsic desire. The next thing is you have to figure out what their defense mechanism is. So, I said earlier, given the example of that, my traffic ordeal, I had said earlier that the average person wants to buy, right? But they don't want to be sold to. Meaning, the minute a customer recognizes that this person is trying to close me, automatically they feel like this person is trying to steal my money. If you understand this, right? Drop a comment in the comment section. The minute you notice somebody's just trying to close you, when I say close you now, pardon me, somebody's just trying to close a deal on your head, you automatically feel like, let me hold my guard. Let me check all the things they are saying they will do. Let me check their contract again. Let me check. Literally, your defenses go up and you begin to look at all the things you were not looking at before. Why? Because you just sensed that this person is trying to just get their money. Has it ever happened to you? That's what happens with a typical customer. The minute they recognize that this person wants to take their money. So it means that in order for you to consistently close sales, you have to move away from tipping their defense mechanism. Let me say it again. You have to move away from tipping their defense mechanism. It's important that you move away from tipping their defense mechanism. That means that you are not the kind of customer who is trying to, they use the word hustle, right? You're not the kind of customer business owner trying to hustle a customer. How far? You have not made up your mind. How far? You have not made up your mind. Even when you have to follow up, there's a strategy to follow up on a customer. How do you follow up on a customer? By reaching out to them, say, thank you so much again for showing interest in XYZ. I wanted to confirm if this is still in your radar because we added XYZ feature and this feature will help you do that. Are you saying? It's not about I want to collect money. You're emphasizing again and again and again how the product is about them, not about you. And you're doing it subtly, with class, subtly, with grace, subtly, with stealth. Not give me the money. You know those business owners who come to you and it's about the money. You know. How do you treat them? Oga, shift. Madam, shift. And you go and start looking for those who are not necessarily begging you to come and buy, but something about them is attracting you. That should be you as a business owner. I do recognize that there are times where you should actually follow up on people, but it's a strategy to follow up. We have a masterclass, I think, coming up in July or August. I can't remember now. The art of persuasion. I will teach you that. Follow-up strategy, closing strategy. I'll teach all of that in the art of persuasion. It's a masterclass. Okay, it's going to be exclusive with just a group of people. Of course, it's not free, but we'll announce it as we go. Right? The art of persuasion, where we'll teach you follow-up, we'll teach you closing strategies and all of that, so that you are consistently not the one tipping the defense mechanism of your customer. So that customer who you want to follow up on today, right? Don't go them and say, I'm still waiting for you, ma. Are you still buying? Eh? Even if they wanted to buy, they will first be like, do you see what I'm saying? So you don't want to do that. There's a strategy to following up on people. And then I'm going to move on very quickly because this class is supposed to have rounded up now. I have another meeting now. What hormone? There's a hormone in human beings that you can trigger to be able to get them to consistently pay attention to you. It's called, in science, that hormone is called dopamine. And I know some of you may have heard about it, right? Dopamine is a feel-good hormone. It's a feel-good hormone, meaning that every time you're able to trigger dopamine in the minds of your customers, they're excited to listen to you. They want to pay attention. They're excited to tell me more. So that's why if you're a salesperson or you're a business owner, you're going to have a meeting where you want to close sales. Don't put the cat before the bag. Don't enter there and they're talking about numbers. No, your job is to work the dopamine in your customer's mind. Work their dopamine. Make them feel so good. It's either you're joking with them or, when I say joke, tasteful jokes, of course, right? Tasteful jokes. Now, depending on the places you are going to, if you say proper corporate setting, you are not going there to go and play jokes. If it's a proper corporate setting where you have to do slides and presentation, go there with props, okay? You are finding out who the gatekeeper is, and you're probably maybe giving them apple, chocolates, and giving them warm compliments. Warm compliments, hi, how are you this morning? With their names. Hi, Tina, it's so good to see you again. Hope you slept well. How's your family? I brought this for you. I hope you're okay. Literally warmth, so that you can trigger that, she cares about people. She's nice. That literal one alone would trigger the dopamine in them, and automatically they begin to look at you with joy. They begin to look at you with attraction. They begin to look at you with what you may call favor, so to speak, by just triggering the dopamine. And your entire facial expression, every time you show up for your customers, you must show up with energy, because people are looking for a way to feed off good energy. People are always saying bad energy, stay away. You hear that a lot, right? Bad energy, stay away from me. So you, who is a business owner, you want to collect money from people. You can't be the one that brings the bad energy to the table. Never. Whether it's a picture of you, whether it's a video of you, whether it's a post of you, it can be slur. It can be slur. You must consistently trigger dopamine in the minds of people. Every time I teach, you can't be quiet. You can't be static. Why? Because I'm very deliberate about making sure dopamine is getting to you. You too can consistently do that. Whether it's through phone calls. If I'm talking to you and go, hi, how are you doing this morning? Literally, your energy level must be able to send dopamine through people's minds. And as business owners, you must always show, or you must always let the fact that you care about your customers show. Because customers don't care what you know until they know how much you care about them. That's the truth. And so if your sales copies, if your pitch, if your product, if your service is not showing the customer that you care about me, what you are doing is you are triggering their defense mechanism, like I taught you earlier. And the more you trigger their defense mechanism, the more they just want to go back and like, let me keep watching. And they can keep watching for such a long time when they should have been buying. And guess what? That period where they're watching and waiting for you, they're buying from other people. What is the difference between you and the other people they are buying from? Some of the things we have listed here is the difference. Now, to crown today's conversation up, right? We're going to move very quickly to what I call the economics of care, not the capitalist system. We live in a world that is driven by capitalism. And I know this may sound like a big political jargon, but hear me out. Meaning that we live in a world where everybody wants to take. Everybody wants to take. So we, the business owners, have trained our customers on how to take. That's why you will find that a customer who wants to buy a product from you, they are thinking of how to price you to the lowest. Why? We have raised the people who are capitalist driven. Both business owner, both the customers, everybody's, how can I take? In order for us to consistently trigger the emotions that buy, we must move from the capitalist system to the economics of care. Entrepreneurs, please listen to this one very well. We live in a country, and by extension, continent, where if we don't quickly move from the capitalist system, us as SMEs, now I'm not even talking about corporates, I'm not talking about big corporates, I'm not talking about governments, I'm talking about SMEs today. If we don't move from capitalist systems of business and move very quickly to economics of care, you will find that every one of us will keep tearing each other down to get what they want. It's not survival of the fittest. We're not meant to all kill each other to get somewhere. That's not how God created us or created the resources in the earth. Well, how many billion people on the earth? 8 billion plus. It doesn't matter how saturated your market is. There's a person for you. There are customers for you. There are people for you, and they will forever be there. If they are not there, they will be born. So that mentality from now on should make you understand that I must build my business on the strength of the economics of care. Meaning, I exist because I truly care about the people I want to solve their problems. And guess what? It will show. It will show. It's just a matter of time. So once you truly move quickly into the economics of care, what would happen is every time people interact with your content, interact with your solutions, they would feed off that energy of care. And as they feed off that energy of care, what will now begin to happen is customer begins to feel that this is the person for me. Why? Because they sense by a tiny nudge that this person cares about me. And once they are convinced, guess what? They'll consistently want to spend money at your own place. You see, begin with the end in mind, but focus on the economics of care. Because the people you are sent to serve, the people you are sent to pay attention to deliver products and services to, they are people who are human beings with deep needs, just like you. And much more than anything, aside from money leaving their pocket, they want to feel that their needs have been met. It's not enough to meet their needs; they want to feel that their needs have been met. And that's why you'll find that a customer who is aggrieved, it's not just aggrieved because they didn't get their product. They are aggrieved because of how you made them feel. That's why you notice a very angry customer will say, see how she was speaking, see how she was doing this. But did you get your product? Yes, I got my product, but see how she was. So there's always a how they felt. That means that as a business owner, there's an expo. Customers just want to feel a certain kind of way. I remember that one of the biggest issues I've had as a business owner in my in doing business with customers is that there was a miscommunication between what we signed up for, right, and what the person wanted when we eventually sat down with her team. You know, she has a group of companies, and we had signed a deal. And eventually they came back later, months later, and said this was not what they signed up for. And I'm like, we had like a full-blown contract. This, that. How come nobody paid attention to any of those contracts? But long and short, what was meant to end up being a very terrible case, we managed it so well by making sure that the customer never felt certain kind of way. I took upon that customer and I managed the customer myself by ensuring that the person never felt in any way misunderstood, cheated. I made sure of that until tomorrow. Even if we didn't end up doing that project, we can still talk and look at each other eye to eye without anything being smeared. Now, I can't give you the details of this particular deal/contract. It was a huge one. But it could have gone so bad that one bad issue can lead to that. But by understanding that customers are very particular about how they were treated, how they felt. It's not even how they were treated, though. It's how they felt. Because you may treat a person to the best of your understanding. I treated them well. It's not about how you treated them. It's about how they processed what you did. That's going to be another class, because somebody's going to say, well, I'm not responsible for how you interpret what I do. In business, you are responsible. Can I say that again? In business, you are responsible. Every time there's consistent complaints about something in your business, they're not all crazy. Go back and look at your entire process. You are giving off something that is making people come back with that particular feedback. You are. But because a lot of times business owners too want to play different, I'm this, no. Because you are playing for the long haul. You are not about, I just want to get the money to pay. You know where you are going. Perhaps that may be the next class we're going to have. How to develop a vision for your enterprise, how to develop a vision for your business, or how to draw a 5-year, 10 plan, 20-year plan of your business. It's important, African business owners. It's important. You must have milestones, heavy milestones, small milestones that enable you grow and hold yourself accountable if you truly want to do business. So yeah, having said all of that, we are going to end it on this note. I'm going to take one question because we're way ahead of time. I mean, way beyond our time. One question. If you are just joining or you have joined in and gone out and you're not certain what we're talking about today, we talked about how to trigger the emotions that make people buy. And we have discussed extensively on how to trigger the emotion, how to make sure you're not triggering the wrong one. We talked about it. The replay is going to be here for every single person, whether you're on Instagram or YouTube. It's here for you to be able to catch the replay and be able to, take notes and apply. The summary of everything I want you to leave here today with is sit down and write who your ideal clients are. Is their daily life, and then from their daily life and daily activities, draw inferences on their temperament, draw inferences on their intrinsic need. That means that thing they need that they're not vocalizing. You have to do it. If you can't pay for research and development, to draw inference yourself, right? Rema, send me a DM. You're on Instagram, send me a DM. I'll give you the full details via DM, right? And once you draw inferences from that, the next thing is you change your entire marketing strategy to suit the inferences you have drawn, and then implement that new strategy for at least 6 months. Come back to me if it does not work. This is a free class. But if you do what I told you today and it does not work, come back to me after 6 months. That means I've given you, this is not even money back, that's just a free session, but I'm giving you time back guarantee. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. If you are a startup entrepreneur or you're a mid truth, it's not because anybody after you. There's nobody after you. I can be honest. The only thing is there's something you're not doing right. I'll have to be honest with you. You'll find that you're building on a sandy soil and it will crash. It just won't work. So this SMS formula, social media sellout formula, is the foundation every business, whether you're a startup or a mid-level organization, right? Let me change. The idea is so that you can look at once again for on Instagram and YouTube for those of you who are joining on YouTube. Thank you and have a fantastic day. Formula and she's here. It's a life value, it's a huge blessing. That's something you want to quickly go and